7 Blackie Stratocaster guitar $959,500. Built in 1950, Eric Clapton's Blackie Stratocaster guitar has become one of the most famous and desirable guitar ever in history. The journey of this guitar began when Eric Clapton bought several Strats in 1970s, as they were being sold for a couple $100 each. He took a liking to Blackie. Blackie's last appearance was on May 1991, and in 2004. It was sold at Christie's auction house in New York for $959,500. Six Steinway Z piano $1.67 million. The Steinway Z piano is the piano on which John Lennon composed the iconic classic hit song Imagine. The piano was built in 1970 and bought by John Lennon. In 2000 at an auction, it was purchased by George Michael for $1.67 million. 5 Lady Tennant Stradivarius $2.032 million. The Lady of Tennant is another antique violin. It was created by Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari in 1699. It was sold for a staggering $2.032 million in an auction in 2005. Lady Tennant was owned by a few people throughout history. It was firstly owned by Charles Philippe Lafont, a violinist in the 19th century. After his death, a London dealer bought it. However, in 1900, a Scottish businessman bought it for his wife as a gift, and called the violin the Lady Tennant. For the Hammer Stradivarius $3.544 million. The Hammer Stradivarius is a violin made by luthier Antonio Stradivari dating back to 1707. The antique violin was named after a 19th-century Swedish collector, Christian Hammer, who was the first owner of the violin. The Hammer Stradivarius was sold in 2006 at an auction for $3.544 million to an anonymous bidder, which topples the record of another called the Lady Tennant. The violin has been loaned to other violinists for orchestral performances, including Kyoko Takezawa's performance. Three Lady Blunt Stradivarius $16 million. The Lady Blunt Stradivarius made headlines in 2011 after being auctioned for a whopping price of $16 million, topping the world record. The Lady Blunt is a prized possession of all Stradivari's violins and has been preserved for 3 decades. It was sold to help with the devastating tragedy of 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, with the proceeds going to Nippon Foundation's Relief Fund. Two Duport Stradivarius cello $20 million. The Duport Stradivarius cello is a cello built by luthier Antonio Stradivari. It is named after its owner, Jean-Louis Duport. It has a dent that is still visible from Napoleon Bonaparte rough handling while straddling the cello with his boots. The Duport Stradivarius cello is one of the most valuable Stradivari cellos. It was sold to Nippon Music Foundation for $20 US million. 1 McDonald Stradivarius viola $45 million. The McDonald Stradivarius viola was made by Antonio Stradivari in 1719 and it is one of 2 Strad violas still in private hands. The difference between violas and violins is that violas have a lower pitch than violins and is quite larger. The MacDonald was named after the third Baron MacDonald. It was put up at an auction for the price of $45 million and unfortunately it was not sold due to its expensive price.